day, everyone. Welcome to episode 34 of Reading with Ayo. My name is Ayo Lawrence. Today, I have a special guest to me. And when I say special, she's the wife of one of my buddies. Her husband has actually been one of the people that have supported me and is my top partner as well. And he's always been that person that's always giving me that support and motivation and inspiration. So I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad to have you here, Shivana, just to talk about the great work you're doing. See some of your great work on LinkedIn. Your first post that I saw is when you wrote about you guys being financially free. That was motivational to me, and I showed it to my wife as well, and we're on that journey as well. So thanks for sharing that. But I've seen some of the great work you're doing, some of the write-ups you do, and some of the things you and your husband share, and I'm really encouraged by that. But I just want you to introduce yourself and introduce yourself to the guests.
Oh, thank you very much, Ayu. It's a real pleasure to be part of this and to, be able to participate. I know my husband has very high regard for you as well. So, I'm honored by the introduction. Thank you. So yes, my name is Shivana, and I have a full-time job, and I have stepped into financial coaching because of our personal journey, and now that in itself is evolving. But I'm excited to that the things that we share, from what you shared is motivating to you. I mean, if I was reflecting recently about the impact that we make and whether that's one or thousands. So I'm really encouraged to hear that our story is an encouragement to you, Ayu, and to your wife. And congratulations on starting on your own financial journey.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. No, it's recently I saw the fact that you transitioned in your coaching journey as well from financial coaching to the coaching around disc certification and helping people to organize. And one thing I really love is the story you put why you did it, because I always look for the why, right? For
Right.
me, I have the same struggle that you talked about, right? We connect with my daughter. The only thing we connected with is we're both trainer, so we love trainers. That's the only thing we connect with, and I think that's a great place to connect to start with them. But
Yeah.
I have that struggle of connecting with her in different ways. But I like the fact that you used that and you went to start something else. Can you talk about the disc certification?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've actually completed the DISC assessment, a couple of times in the past, and completed more from a personal perspective of gaining insight about myself. Uh, but that's as far as I went with it, right? And yes, I use that in how I engage in coaching others, understanding their different personality styles. But it really hit home when I was at the Maxwell Leadership Conference earlier this month. And uh, as I sat listening to the presentation around DISC, I started to get a little bit more insight into some of the issues that I'm having with my daughter right now, and just being able to relate to her and engage her in a way that motivates her to do things that needs to be done. For me, I am a high C and S on that disc, which means that I like a lot of structure. Yes, some people oriented as well, but I tend to like a lot of structure. I like to be very accurate. My daughter, on the other hand, is a high I and nothing else. She's low on everything else, and she is all about social. She's all about connecting. She's a brilliant young lady, but she just she likes that people engagement so much that she will sacrifice everything else to just be able to connect, to have fun with others, and engage in that way. And at home, what that has played out into is, well, she wants to engage with her friends on the phone or whatever it is and not pay attention to either doing chores or doing her homework or keeping her room tidy. And that, I mean, simple little things like that, right? But it's been so repetitive, particularly over the last year that she's back on the school campus, that it's created a lot of conflict between she and me. And so as I sat in that presentation, I was like, wow, I mean, this is why I have had such a difficulty in connecting with her, because the way I am engaging with her is from the way I relate and the things that are important to me, and not first embracing where she is, the things that are important to her, understanding how she likes to be related to, and being drawn along together rather than being told go on her own. So that was after that presentation, I called her. I said, I had to apologize. I said, I'm really sorry that, in how we engaged in some of these things, I'm getting a better understanding, and I'm really excited to be able to how that will, translate into our relationship. And I'll tell you, since I've been back from that conference, it's been very different already,
Oh
very
yeah.
different. And that makes me very excited about, all that is ahead in how that relationship will continue to grow and blossom, because now I can support her from the place that she needs me to, and not from where, my direction and my style and how I want to see things, but really her strengths, and helping her to embrace those things that she doesn't really find fun, but are important.
Oh
You
yeah.
know. So
No, I really love what you're saying. I think I'm gonna need some coaching. So I'm gonna sign up for your coaching class.
you bet, you bet. You get a
Yeah.
complimentary session first.
All right, cool, cool, cool. But one thing I realized is you talked about is you have to identify your style first, right? You have to be know who you are and
Yeah.
understand those things that then you can use it to connect with her in where she is as well. So you don't, because most of the time we we think about things from our aspect and we don't think about how it affect others, right? I used to have that same issue with me being an extrovert and my son being an introvert. But until I started following my friend David Burrows, he started sharing things about introverts. That's when I started relating with them. How is that really important? Being to be able to identify who you are, identify who that person is, to in terms of connection.
Yeah, I think that is, honestly, it's very, very important, right? Because we all have an awareness of what our natural tendencies are, what our preferences are, but what we are sometimes very blind to is what we project to others, right?
Mm,
In the disc assessment, you get an understanding of your perceived self, how you see yourself, right? You also get an understanding of your public self, and
mm,
that's what people experience, and an understanding of how you actually function, natural defaults like under pressure, right? And that is key, because I mean, in a work environment, you have a lot of situations where
mm-hmm,
you may be engaging with someone one-on-one, really, in your natural style, in the kitchen area, having coffee or whatever, and then boom, you're in another session with that person, but it's a real high intense pressure situation, and something completely different comes across,
mm,
and you're wondering, okay, why is that relationship now being affected?
mm,
Uh, well, there's a disconnect between my natural style and how I act under pressure, right?
mm,
So getting that self-awareness will help me in turn to understand that impact that I'm having on
mm,
others, right? How people are receiving me. Because it being, you talked about yourself being an extrovert and your son an
mm,
introvert. I'm quite introverted,
mm,
right? And so when I am in like a team setting, my quietness will not may be seen as uh, disinterest. Well, that's
mm,
not the case. It's just I would prefer to have a one-on-one conversation with someone rather than just be talking in a huge group all the time. Now, uh, that in itself shows that I need to be aware of my preference, because
mm,
the work that I'm doing requires me to engage with others, and
mm,
to for speaking, or as part of a training session, right? So
mm.
uh, that the self-awareness, I think, is foundational to being able to start connecting in an authentic way with others.
One of the things you talked about in the book, you talked about on your post is started reading this book, Everyone Communicates Few Connect by John C. Maxwell. For me, I've not read the book, but I bought the book.
Right.
It should be, Amazon should deliver today. But I've gone in to do some research because when you started talking about it, it's like, man, this is something I need to do. Then I found out he has, five major principles that the book talked about, right? Finding common ground, keeping your communication simple, creating an enjoyable and interesting experience, inspiring people, and staying authentic in your communication. I'm like, man, these are good principles. But I want to see how the book has affected you. And we can go deep into the book later on and under the episode. But, just talk about what you've learned. I think yeah, I love the book.
Yeah. You sure you have time for this one story? For this story? No,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one is a longer one.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I can do this.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, for me, I've been in a management role for a long time in my career. I came into managing teams quite early in my career. And in hindsight, I did a very I was going to use the word horrible. I don't know if that's quite right. I mean, some of my ex teammates might agree that's exactly the word you should use.
Yeah.
But
No.
I came in from, again, my personal preferences, my natural style, being driven, being wanting to see results and performance and and really driving the team like that, not aware of their natural styles. Right.
Mhm.
So we delivered. We delivered high quality because that's my standard. Yes, I held it to that. We did that. But the relationships in the team were not strong. I don't think that some of my teams in the past felt like I really had their back, even though I know I did. Right? That wasn't really communicating. So the strength of that bond wasn't quite where, if I had to go back and redo it, completely different, in my approach and how I would connect to them. And so that's been the place where I think in my own spiritual journey I've been really wrestling with and developing and growing, because there is this deep desire in me to really connect with people, to show people that they are valuable, and in turn they, as they value themselves, they see value in others, they value others, they uplift others, right? uh, because of my personal journey, a lot of my struggle connected with the way I communicated, the words that I chose to use, right? And those words, I mean, very powerful. The power of words have the ability to inspire life, to inspire passion, to inspire, to really move us into action, or they can put us to a place of completely shattering us.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, thanks for being vulnerable and sharing that story, because sometimes people don't, we all learn.
Yeah.
Like people see your growth and they don't understand that you've come from a very far place. And I've done that as well in my life. There was a time in my life that the things I do now, if somebody told me I was going to do it at that time, like hell no, but there's that place of growth, right? We all grow as we grow in age, as we grow in wisdom, as we grow in understanding. And I've heard you commit to saying every time when I read everyone communicates, if you connect, you're gonna come back and talk to me about it. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
I really enjoy what you and your husband are doing. Is really great. I wanted to say something. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually going to be starting a mastermind group on the material of Everyone Communicates, If You Connect. Shortly, it'll be like a 5 week group. So it,
Sign
it's
me up. Sign me up.
yeah, no problem.
Yes.
It's a great way to learn with a group of people, and to implement the principles as well.
Oh, do you want more people? I can help you advertise it right now.
Oh yeah, you bet.
All right. If you want to
Yeah,
be a part of
get
this
on the wait
mastermind
list.
group,
But
hey, send Shivana and I am on in LinkedIn. She will reply to you. I think this is going to be a great opportunity, and we all can learn together. I'm going to be a part of it. So let's come on. Let's join the group. The more the merrier. Let's learn together. Let's be better together. I think that's the best way. Seriously, just talking to you today, I know we're gonna have a friendship. I'm gonna have to tell my wife we need to meet you guys. Have dinner together with your husband and chill. Chill together one of these days. But I really love what you guys are doing. Keep doing you. Keep being you. Keep sharing that positive message and keep connecting with people. Thank you very much, Ivana. And
thank you so much, Ayo.
yeah, thanks everybody. I will see you another episode of Reading with Ayo. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.